All right, guys. So, number one, Viv, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
And thank you for having us at this incredible event, guys. This is somebody who is a big part of why we are all here today. Viv, why don't you introduce yourself, my friend?
Absolutely. I'm the founder here at Question Pro. I started Question Pro back in 2005. Actually, ran for about 4 years, then took a break, did a couple other things, a couple other startups, didn't work. Came back to run Question Pro in 2015. I've been running it since then. So
That's
that's kind of my
fantastic.
thing.
That's awesome.
For the last 20 years or so.
I got to ask you, what back in 2005, what made you think about helping companies with getting feedback, understanding what both customers and employees thought, what people needed to do more of? What made you get into this space? What was the draw at the time?
I'm going to be super honest with you. I'm going to really be honest with you. It was not like, look, it was after the dot-com bust.
Okay.
And I really wanted to do something on my own. I did a lot of consulting work back then.
Okay,
Right? I
nice.
was doing
Yeah.
tech consulting,
Yeah.
not management
Okay.
consulting.
Okay.
I really wanted to do something on my own. And in consulting, look, at the end of the day, in consulting, you make a lot of money, but
totally.
you don't
Sure.
you don't own anything, or
Yeah.
you're kind of like you're a hired gun.
Yeah, right.
Really.
You're a hired gun. Yeah.
So, but I really want to build a product. So my passion was product.
Okay.
Right. I was like, I want to build something that I can think of and build, and actually surveys, online surveys is where we all started. So
Okay.
online surveys is how So I figured like, look, we wanted to build a self-service product that anybody could create a survey anytime they wanted, collect feedback, and so. Our core passion at the time, at least, was anybody who wanted feedback could get it done.
Yep.
Really, you don't
Yep.
have to hire an expensive market research consultant.
Yep.
It's just like disrupting quite frankly, disrupting the market research business itself.
Yeah.
Where like if you think about it in 2005, if you wanted to understand any kind of consumer behavior, anything, you'd pay Ipsos, Kantar, Nielsen hundreds
Yeah.
of thousands of dollars, right?
Yeah.
So we were disrupting that market.
Was there any tools?
No, there was. SurveyMonkey was there at the time.
Okay.
SurveyMonkey was there.
Yeah.
SurveyGizmo came in a little bit. About 40 or 50. Actually, a lot of tools were there at the
Okay.
time. And at this point, you could argue like most of them have gone.
Yeah, right,
Most of them are
right,
either been
right.
acquired, gone.
Yeah,
one
yeah,
way or
yeah,
either way you look at it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we survived.
Yeah.
All these years. But we were like super kind of like focused on tech. Really,
Okay.
right? That was our thing.
Yeah.
Because that was my background.
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, that was the easy one. So that's how we all got started.
Love
back
it.
in
What
2005.
were in the early days? So you mentioned tech, and you mentioned some of these competitors that were out there, some of the solutions that people could actually go use. Tell me about like some of the first handful of customers that you had to
Oh,
go out
yeah.
there and just pinned down. Like, what was that like, and then how did that lead to some of the things that we're doing today? Some of these incredible customers that you've got
Yeah.
here in Austin today with us, participating the next day and listening and learning and being part of all the action you guys built over these last 20 years now.
Yeah. So I mean, look, I am not. My background is not in market research.
Okay.
Right? My background is in software
Yep.
and engineering.
Yep.
That's what I went to school for, really,
Yep.
right? So a lot of what we built is using our customers,
Okay.
with our customers, just
Okay.
out of need.
Yeah.
I mean, look at me.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't understand. I don't understand, conjoint analysis, for example, but our customers actually knew what.
Yeah, right,
But
right,
I knew software.
right,
I knew
right.
I knew I could build software.
Yep,
Really, right?
yep.
So that was like a great collaboration. So I used to, and you talked about like what was the original kind of like earlier on, like, look, customers was like we just want to get these things done. Can you help us?
Yeah, right.
And I would look at it and say like, look, what I'm really good at is looking at a problem and building it into a product.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of my.
Yep.
I would say core proposition,
Okay,
if you will.
okay.
Like you tell me a problem, I could easily tell you how I could build a product to
Yep,
solve that problem.
yep,
Really, right?
yep.
That's kind of my. So I, used our customers, and customers used me. Like they wanted a solution where they don't want to build a custom product. For
Yeah,
example.
right.
Like, hey, look, I have this problem. I'm not gonna go pay Accenture, a couple of $1 million
Yep.
to do this, solve
Yeah,
this
right,
problem.
you're right.
And I was there like, well, okay, you could pay me,
Yeah.
maybe not 10 grand, but maybe 50 grand
Yeah.
to solve this problem.
Yeah.
Really, right? So that's the collaboration that we had with a lot of our customers, and that's how we built the product. So I would
Okay.
talk to somebody and say like, hey, look, this is the problem, and I would say, oh, I can enhance Question Pro to solve this problem.
Yep.
Right, and then you can buy Question Pro through that process. So what ends up, it's a win-win because now you get I improve the product.
Yep, 100%.
Obviously,
Yep,
right,
yep.
and you get a product at a kind of product price as opposed to
Absolutely.
going to Accenture, Deloitte, or anybody for that
Yep.
matter, and say, hey, custom build this for me,
Yep.
right? And that's a minimum price tag of $500,000.
Easily, yeah.
Some large number,
Yeah.
right? And so that's how we built Question Pro for the first 3 or 4 years, and then we became big enough where we were like, okay, cool. Now we have a game plan. Now we
Love
know
it.
what to build, and today, like guys like Ken are my inspiration to build the next generation,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
I'm super passionate about it. Like, I've assembled kind of like, frankly, like all these guys are helping. They are helping me.
Yeah.
Really. Like I'm not in a position to say like I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Ken knows more about CX than I ever will.
Ken,
Literally.
Ken knows a tremendous amount about CX. And
Absolutely.
to your point of what you're getting at, so like from where you started to where we are today, Ken and I were talking last night at the kickoff party about just this notion too of like companies don't just need help with with collecting feedback anymore. And by the way, let's be real clear, guys. We're not just talking about customer feedback. We're talking about customer feedback, employee feedback, product feedback,
Yep.
service feedback. Like this ain't just CX anymore, right?
Yep.
This goes way, way, way deeper. There's many layers to the onion here. But the thing that Ken and I were talking about last night, as two CX nerds would be doing at a happy hour, talking about CX. It's just what we do. But it's talking about also helping many of the folks that are here today, many of these awesome customers, and many of the folks that are on your team.
Yep.
Like thinking about the journey, thinking about the customer journey, the user journey, the employee journey, the patient journey.
Yep.
Enter whatever the X is before it, and then it's starting to really kind of help extrapolate not just what's going on, but like tying data to these or signals, whatever you want to call it, to the different cuts of the journey. That's where all of a sudden you can start cooking with some gas, and you can start to do things more in real time than ever before. Traditionally, think about a survey. You wait for an entire journey to happen,
and then you kind of like
you go get, instead of like
no, you have different points in the journey, and we are like, and Raj has helped me. Raj Subramaniam, he's kind of helping me kind of like convert from journey management. Think of it as journey management modeling, really, right? And the journey management model is really kind of like, and I think Ford is doing it. A couple of our customers like. Every time there's a new initiative, they have to go to the common CX team.
Yep.
That is the center of excellence. They've created a new center of excellence within Ford. So like, think about it, like in any large business or even medium-sized, hey, let's do this. And then they go pitch for money.
Yeah, right.
That's the way it works, right? Like, hey, let's go do X. Let's go pitch for money.
Yep.
But customer-centric companies, they're saying like, look, yes, you can come pitch the CFO money, but go to the CX team before that.
Yep.
Model out what this will look like. Really,
Yep.
right? Model out what this will look like from an end-to-end perspective. Don't come and say, hey, let's do X, right?
Yep.
Hey, because that's a point of time problem, right?
Yep.
They want even the people who are pitching them saying, this, you can continue pitching us.
Absolutely.
But think about, pre-X, post-X.
Yep.
Think of the journey
Yep.
for whatever you're pitching.
Yep.
And so like we are helping Ford, for example, with like, the CX team has within that there's a center of excellence that does only journey management. Really, right?
Okay.
So they kind of work with the business teams, say, hey, we want to launch this.
Yep.
We want to launch, let's say a subscription service for whatever it is. It doesn't matter, really, right? So they kind of say, like, let us think about the entire journey before you launch the subscription service.
Yeah, right,
really,
right.
As opposed to like, because in a large company, you are launching the subscription service, you're launching,
You're getting pre-feedback, early feedback.
and I have a process around that, and I have a process around kind of new initiatives and how to improve initiatives. So I really think that's the big reason why I kind of got Raj on board. Raj works with Ken and all of us. It's like not just measurement, but actually kind of putting the journey together, and just not a lot of people go into journey mapping. I'm like, journey management is where
Journey management. I like that. That's a good
it's
point.
not just
So
like
you need
it's
to
not like
change
pretty
that term.
pictures. Yeah, it's not like pretty pictures on a post-it notes and all that stuff. Yeah, that's great. That's a great start. But everything's going to change over time.
Absolutely.
Right? Like the pretty pictures that you had is outdated after 6 months. Really, right?
Yeah.
The speeds of which we are operating.
Yep.
CarPlay used to be cool for Ford. I mean, CarPlay is table stakes now.
Yeah, right.
Are you kidding
You
me?
need it. You have to have it.
You can't walk around saying, "Hey, I got CarPlay,
You
bro,"
wouldn't-
and they'll be like,
I
"Shut
wouldn't
up."
buy a car if I didn't have the ability of.
Boom.
Even if it was a gorgeous
5
car.
years ago, people were like, "Oh my God, CarPlay is so
Yep.
awesome."
Yep.
And
Yep.
today it'll be like, "Dude, are you shitting me?"
It's true.
CarPlay is table stakes. So now, if your map says, "Hey, I'm going to do some tech integration,"
Yep.
like, okay, now why are these things not integrated with my calendar? So,
Yeah, right.
So that the car. All of us have busy lives. We
Yep.
have a calendar.
Yep.
Why is my car not integrated with my calendar? So it knows where am I going to go?
Where you're going,
Where you
or
going?
how to tee up your music, or
Yeah.
how to have all the
Exactly.
things.
A lot
you
of
need.
these things, a lot of these integrations scenarios open up if you start looking at journey rather than, hey, I'm gonna do X for you. I'm gonna drive you a car. Yeah, you can your car. I get it. But
right.
these are like beautiful computers on wheels. Really, like
100%,
think about that.
that's what it
why,
is.
That's why a lot of the CX feedback for Tesla is better than the traditional car companies.
Yeah.
If you think about it, because they are thinking of this as like, look, the Tesla is integrated with their calendar. So you get into the car, it says like, I know where you're gonna go.
Yep.
You have a meeting in 8 minutes.
Everything is teed up for you.
Exactly. It's the default navigation on Tesla. If you have the calendar integrated, for example, you walk into the car, it knows. It's not that complicated if you think about it, right?
Yep.
I mean, your calendar is there. You know what time
and
it is.
and it knows.
It's there.
It knows everything about you. It knows so much about you already.
And you give it the permission, right?
Yep.
You're giving permission
Yep.
for the car to say like, look, this is my car, And if I walk into the car and it's like, okay, the first thing is the nav
Yep.
to the calendar event that's there, that's gonna happen one hour from now. I just tap on that and I'm done. Like,
100%.
I don't have to worry about like, hey, search for it and da 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 all this stuff.
Yeah,
Right? So
yep.
simple. I'd say simple journey mapping things like that. Doing those exercises helps companies think about it.
I love that. Question for you. You've just mentioned all these incredible people that you are so fortunate to have on the team. How did you start to think about what types of people or what types of roles or what type of SMEs, however you want to answer it, as the bonfire started getting bigger,
Yep.
started bringing on more customers, Question Pro started expanding, it was working, people are getting that. How did you start to think about what people you needed to bring on or how you needed to develop the team?
Great question, dude. So the one thing my friend Kodo, who's also my COO and CFO, told, like, look,
I rode our elevator down with Eric this morning
great,
from the hotel.
Kodo is a very dear friend of mine. He's been with me forever.
Okay.
I'll tell a very personal story. He told me, like, when I was trying to pitch him to come on, join us, and be
Yeah.
part of this journey with me, he's like, bro, it doesn't even I don't give a fuck about how much you pay me.
Yeah.
But don't make me work with idiots.
You
That's
want to
my
work with
mantra.
smart,
Simple
awesome
mantra.
group of
like,
people.
Like, yes. And I look at it from a perspective of like, dude, if I put an amazing, smart people together,
Yeah.
and they like working with each other,
Then it's
we're gonna fucking
you're gonna
crush
kill it. You're
That's
gonna kill it.
That's it. That's all.
100%.
Now, that's the way I look at it. I'll give you a very personal answer.
Yeah.
Like, look, yeah, you could have done a bunch of things, but dude, you're smart. You like working with us.
Yeah.
We all love working with you.
Yep.
That is super important to me, right? Ultimately, look, Ken has worked at this source for like, I don't know, 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I guarantee you, Ipsos pays him more money than I know Ipsos pays more money than I do. Let me give you a very personal.
Let's make sure he's not too close to the studio.
Nah, he
over
knows
there.
it. No, they tried to recruit him after I hired him.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, Ken, what did you sell him? He's like, dude, I love what I do.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about this. See, at
Yeah.
some point, people are
Yeah.
like, look, we've all heard this. Like, if you can create an environment where people love working
Yeah.
with each other.
Totally.
And why do people love? Like, because they're intellectually stimulating and
Totally.
challenging each
100%.
other, right?
Yeah. You enjoy the time together. All that
Exactly.
stuff.
Enjoy
yeah.
the time together, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
and I'm a strong believer in that, right? Like, so if we can create, so you asked the question. So I figured, like, look, if I can create an environment where people love working with each other,
Yep.
right? And so shitting on each other, doing all this
Yep.
drama, right?
Yep.
And that requires certain things. It requires transparency, and they have to believe that the person right next to you, your
Absolutely.
colleague,
Absolutely.
is actually smart and
100%.
you
Yep.
know, and is contributing to the game, really, right? It's a team. I look at these things as a team sport,
Yep.
right? I don't look at this. A lot of people say, hey, look, a company's like a family. I don't believe that,
Yep.
right? Because what's the first thing that comes to your mind when it's a family? It's dysfunctional. At least mine is. Let me tell you that. Okay?
I understand. I'd say most of us agree with that.
Think about it, right?
I think most of us agree with that.
No, but it's a team sport. Right?
Yeah.
I look at it as
Yeah.
a team sport.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, like, team connotes the right thing, right? Look,
Yep.
we're all in this. We have a season. We gotta win.
Yeah.
And everybody's gonna work together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we gotta put a team together.
See,
That is like high performance.
Viv, there's not enough business leaders that say what you just said, though. I talk about this constantly in the podcast, which is you think about some of the greatest championship teams that have ever existed. Those teams were like brothers, man. They were brothers in arms, man. Like they found a common mission, or they followed a process, or whatever you want to call it, whatever the mandate for that season and that year and that club was. But then in the second one, then they all bought in to whatever that looked
Exactly.
like.
They bought in.
They bought in. They
believed in each other.
Then you got the belief in each other, and then the most important thing, they enjoyed the shit
Yes.
out of the time, whether it was the practices, the
Yeah.
games, they enjoyed the shit out of it, and that is what bringing people close like that.
Yeah.
That's where the magic starts to
And
come
then
in.
the machine starts working.
Magic
Really
starts to
simple.
come.
The magic
Yep.
happens, really,
Yep.
right? I mean, look, Ken works very closely with Sanya. She runs the EX business. He runs the
Yep.
CX business. There's
Yep.
a lot of correlation, and they have a great bond together.
Yep.
They are pushing each other.
And you can see it. You can see it, by the way, here today. And I've been very fortunate to get to know your team. You could see it with your team.
Yeah.
You guys enjoy each other. You like each other's company. Everybody gets along. There's joking. There's
Yeah,
laughing. There's
that's
fun.
fun,
We had a blast. We had a blast last night. We're having a blast today.
I know. We'll have a
you can
blast
see it.
every day. Come on, dude. this is the game, right?
Viv,
life is too short to be, bitching and moaning all day long.
And
It's
I'm
fucking
glad
stupid.
you say that because most people literally spend more time at work than they
Fucking
do
around,
with their
bitching,
family or
yeah.
their best friends.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
You better enjoy the time that
That's
you're
my
at work
mantra,
spending.
dude. I
100%.
literally, I work my ass off.
Yeah.
Why? Because I love what I do.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, okay, you can say like, look, I'm kind of like in a different position. I'm actually not in it. Like, whatever work I do,
Yeah.
I put, like, that's what Kodo told me. Like, look, just because you pay me double doesn't mean I work twice as hard.
Yep,
You
yep.
know, pay is kind of a marker for
Yeah.
progress.
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
right?
it
That's
is.
the way I look at it.
It is.
And even from a company perspective, yes, I could sell the company. It's a marker for progress.
Yeah.
We need to make more money. It's a marker.
Yeah.
But what I won't care, what I do passionately care about, I do give a shit about, is like all of us have to work together.
Yep.
No bitching morning, less politics, and
Yep.
then, no like backstabbing, all
Yep.
this dumb shit.
Yep.
Really, right?
Yep.
And I'll tell you, like, one of the reasons I started my own company way back when, right, is like, look, I used to do all this work and people used to backstab me and this, all this
Totally.
fucking stupid political
Yeah,
shit used to
yeah.
happen. I was like, dude, that's what I don't want anybody to
Yeah,
have. Now we have a
right.
bunch of people. Like
Yeah.
I cannot, like, if somebody leaves me because of that, I fucked up.
Yep.
I failed.
Yep.
I want to create an environment where people come in and say, like, look, performance matters.
Yep.
Team, you have to be on your A game.
Yep.
And we are all on our game, A game.
Yep.
And that's the reason we're here together.
Yep.
Not this backstabbing, nepotism, this, that, all that drama. And we try to do that with like massive transparency.
Yep.
Everybody in this company, by the way, everybody in this company can tell you at any point of time how much we are making.
Yep.
100%.
Love it.
It's public dashboard. Like it's like
Yep.
now we have enough people. It's kind of almost a public dashboard.
Yeah, right,
Like
right.
you can ask Ken how much exactly. He'll tell you down to the cent.
Yep.
How much
Yep.
have we made
Yep.
in the last month, day, year?
And you
Because
see
it's a
it.
public dashboard.
Yeah, right.
It's a internal dashboard.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's because that gives that's the target. You talked a little bit about the team.
Yep.
The team's got to have a target.
Yep.
Right.
Has to. Have
so
to.
Like, we are aligned to the target,
Yep.
and we, in our case, as revenue as a target is what we've kept.
Yep.
Say like, look, we got to, a target. That's how we measure we are making progress or not.
Love it.
Right. So that's gonna be my no bullshit answer.
No, cover this. Viv, number one, thank you so much for doing this. Last question before I let you off the hot seat, my friend.
Sure.
Because I know you're a busy man today, but
It's all right.
what's like the one big thing because we're in October, man. We're already getting in the home stretch for the Q4 of 2024.
Yep.
What's like the one huge thing that you're excited about to close this year for that you know is going to set up Question Pro and set up the team for a massive 2025? And I know it's a hard question, man.
I know.
It could be new customer segments you're going after. It could be some of this incredible stuff that Ken was talking about with the expansion of the products and the services. But
So we've expanded our goal. I mean, I'll have a tough time answering that. Partly because our goal earlier this year was like we expanded our product portfolio, we've expanded our product portfolio, and we've expanded our geographic portfolio too.
Okay.
So I need these things to work together.
Yep.
Right. So that's my game right now. So
Love it.
I need the geographic and the product portfolio to work together
Yep.
to blow up. Think of it. Like I have multiple products, I have multiple geographies. And leaders that run
Yep.
products, leaders that run geographies.
Yep.
I need those guys to really work together
Yep.
to create a big pie,
Love
to
it.
expand the pie.
Okay. Viv, number one, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you,
Thank you
brother.
so much for letting us be
Absolutely.
here.
Thanks for doing this.
And we're pumped for what's more to come today, man. But it's our pleasure, man. Thanks
Sure.
for coming.
Thank you, man.
Pleasure, man. Thank you.
Cheers.